Hello and welcome to episode 11 of the Sweet Lavender Knits podcast. My name is Christine and I'm coming to you from just outside of Toronto in Ontario, Canada. And I can't believe we are now into the double digits. Well, we were in episode 10 as well, but yes, it is really exciting for me, and I'm very happy to be spending some time doing this podcast. And I thank you and I welcome you to my knit night, and if you are a returning viewer, thank you very much and welcome back again. For those of you who are looking for me on social media, you can find me on Instagram as sweet_lavender1 and on Ravelry as sweetlavender1. We also have a lovely Ravelry group called the Sweet Lavender Knits group, and you can come by and check us out. We have some fun things happening there, and if you fancy, you can join in and introduce yourself in the welcome thread. And it would be really nice to get to know you, and hope you will join in with all of the things that we are having going on the Ravelry group. Yes, it is a beautiful spring day today, and I really want to thank you again for joining me for some time while we chit-chat about what's been going on, what's going on in the knitting scene, as well as just, you know, things that I've been up to over the last 2 weeks. So grab your needles, your favorite project, something nice to drink, and let's get started. Alright, so first off, what's on the calendar? On the calendar, we have the Let's Knit Cal going on, and thank you very much for those of you who have been tagging me on Instagram. The tag would be hashtag SLK Let's Knit Cal, and yes, and if you are posting any pictures, do tag me as well, so that I would be able to see what you're up to. And yeah, you know, I really do enjoy that. The knit along started on the 15th of April and is going on until the 15th of July for now, and we'll see how it goes. If there are you know, quite a few of us that need more time, then I'm more than, you know, open to extending it if you need more time in that. So, but we'll take it as it goes. The cal is mainly for larger knits, and you know, you can find all of the details in the Ravelry group, and we have a chatter thread, and now I have opened up an FO thread as well, because I noticed that there was somebody who had finished it already. So yes, there is a FO thread as well, so post your finished objects in the FO thread, and you know, keep the chatter to the chatter thread, so that we can we will be drawing prizes from both the chatter thread as well as the FO thread. What I'm knitting my ZWEIG sweater for this knit along, as well as for Bethany's knit along. And I should have written it down because I didn't know it last time either. But anyway, she has a knit along going on for the ZWEIG, and I joined in that as well. So yes, this knit along is double dipping is allowed. All are welcome, not just knitting. Even though it's called a Let's Knit Cal, you can crochet as well if you're up to it, or any other craft that requires a larger project to be completed. Another thing that I will be doing over the next few months, starting in May, as we are now at the end of May. Did I say what the date is? Today is April the 29th, and this is episode 11, if I did not say that in the beginning. So I'm going to be starting something just for myself, because I find that I'm getting a little out of control with my works in progress, and I want to rein it in back a little bit. So I'm going to be doing something called whip control. That's what I'm calling it. And it's going to be, I'm setting myself a few months, so May to the end of August. I'm thinking of, along with all of the other stuff, to just try and finish off some of the whips. So you are all welcome to join me in doing that, and I will open up a thread for that as well, in case, you know, you are wanting to join in. And you can just you know, tell, maybe start off with saying how many things you have or what is it that you want to accomplish, and then by the end of it we can see how far we've done. It's not going to be any sort of a pressure on you to have it done. I definitely don't like that, because you know, this has to be relaxing. I understand when there are things that I do want to get off the needles by a certain time, but otherwise it really should just be a lot of fun, and that's it. But I think it's nice to write it down so you have some goals to work towards. And yes, I will be doing that as well. So that will be whip control, and it will be starting day after tomorrow is the 1st of May. And yeah, I will try to work it through. Finding the time is the hardest for me, because you know, especially now with good weather, you just want to do so many other things as well. And as much as I like to sit down and knit, I also need to be able to enjoy the time of the year and the season. Spring is a very nice season for me, but I found over the last few years it's been very, very short, and I have to try and enjoy it as much as I can. Now on to finished objects, and yes, I do finally have something to show you as far as finished objects, and I am very, very happy with these. These are my buttercup socks, and I've already posted it on Instagram. If you're following me there, so you would have known. And I've not blocked it, and I don't think I've weaved in all of the ends. I did do some of them as I went along. And they are a lovely pattern called Buttercup Socks by Ellie of Craft House Magic, and they have been knit. The main yarn, the body of the sock, has been knit in Herbsplant Regina's Witch Hazel base, and the color was Speckled Eggs. And the contrast heel and the little stripe on the top was a mini skein by Snail Yarn. It was a bundle of mini skeins by Snail Yarn that I picked up in Loop, London. It's called the Vintage Romantics colorway. I don't know, the whole package. So yes, it was a really, really fun knit. I'm gonna show a little close-up of the details. You can see those lovely, it's a very tiny lace detail going on the sides of the foot, on sides of the leg, and Ellie calls them little paw prints of the bunnies. And it was an Easter cast on that I cast on the 1st of April. And it took me a while to knit it, only because I was trying to do, I was trying to knit on my shawl as well at the time. So I took some days I just did not knit on this, and I should have just plugged on, you know, but well, you know, things happen, right? I really love the heel. It's got a very nice slip stitch detail there, which I'm not sure if you can see it, maybe if I hold it back here, and I really enjoyed knitting that. But I have to say, I don't quite feel the fit of this heel, and that is not just with this heel or this you know, the pattern. It has nothing to do with the pattern. It's the heel flap and gusset for me, maybe because I'm so used to wearing my hand knits with the Fish Lips Kissed heel by the Sock Therapist, and that the heel flap and gusset, first of all, to knit it for me, it seems like an extra step to be doing a heel flap, heel turn, and the gusset. I know it's the traditional way of doing the sock, and I do like to mix it up, you know, with my knitting off socks, but I find that the fit, it feels like it doesn't fit me too well. Is because it's not the heel that's the problem. The heel fits fine. It's the top of my foot, the instep, that there's a lot of excess. Not a lot, but it is looser. Whereas with the fish lips kissed heel, or I've tried the German short row heel, the foot fits a lot nicer. Maybe because my foot, it has a very small arch, and maybe it works better for me. Or if you know of any ways you can modify the heel flap and gusset heel flap, heel turn, and gusset to accommodate for a smaller instep, smaller, shorter, flatter foot, do let me know, because I would like to try it out. But yes, and then the one modification that I did make to the pattern was to add in a little stripe of the contrast color. And I didn't think I had enough, and that's why I didn't do the toes, but I would have loved to do the toes in the contrast color as well. It's just the decreased toe, the usual one. For the cast on, now I think a few months back when I had done a sock, I mentioned that I used the long tail cast on for my cuff down socks, and one of the viewers had suggested I try this, it's called the Chinese waitress cast on, and that is what I tried. So I think it was Patricia, and Patricia said that is what I tried for these socks, and I have to say it was a little fiddly at first. I mean, it's not hard, it's just you know, it just takes a little time to get there, and I guess because I'm used to the long tail cast on, it moves a lot faster. But this is not too bad at all, and I have to say I like it. I like the finish. It has a very nice clean finish on the top, and even when you look at it, so let me just take it off from here. If you look at the top of the socks, it has a nice finish on there. So yes, do check it out. There are nice, lots of good videos on how to do the Chinese waitress cast on. I usually learn my techniques from Very Pink Knits. Yes, and I'm sure all of you know of her. She has lots and lots of videos on all imaginable knitting techniques, really, and I've learned a lot from her. So yes, this is one that I learned from her as well. I just, you know, looked it up and got to it right away, but it was fun. So I did do the Chinese waitress cast on, and I think I will try it more on socks too. I have to say, just because I'm used to the long tail cast on, it is a lot faster for me, but I'm always up to trying a new technique and seeing how it fits in. It is a very stretchy, but not overly stretchy, so it's not flaring. It has a nice tapered look as well, which is another nice thing. All right, and moving on from finished objects onto works in progress. Oh boy. My Sorrento shawl. I'm working through my Sorrento shawl, for those of you who don't know. It is a lovely pattern by MARSHA IBUKI, who's a Canadian designer, and I love this pattern. And having said that, you know, I was starting to get anxious, like, okay, I just needed to finish this shawl. It was taking me a long time. And I was trying to get it done in time for the frolic, which was yesterday, and I will talk more about that later. But yes, I was working through it, so I'm just going to give you a shot of it. Hold it back maybe. There, this is the, I'm holding it upside down. Okay, there we go. This is the top of the shawl, and then it goes into these sections, different sections of garter, lace, you know, some short row shaping, and again some eyelet rows, and then there's this lovely lace. I might have been exactly at this point when I last showed you guys, and I was super excited because all I had to do was the lace section and then, you know, a picot bind off, and that would have been it. How hard could that be? You know, I had 2 weeks before the frolic, and I was pretty confident that I'd get it done, and I would have if something hadn't happened. So I was knitting along on the lace, and I did row 1, row 2, row 3, and you know, it seemed like, well, okay, it's pretty much the same thing. And so I put away the pattern and then just started knitting, and I got halfway through the lace section, a little more than halfway actually. And then I was just looking at some project pictures to see what other people had done, and then I realized, wait a minute, their lace looks very different from mine. And I was zooming in to look at it because I couldn't believe it. Like, okay, why does mine look like this? And the reason I hadn't realized that before is because for those of you who don't know this or have not heard me mention it before, is I don't print out my patterns. But recently what I've been doing is just printing out the instructions or the chart sections only to work on. So I didn't really have a picture of it to refer to see what the lace section would look like, or you know, it did. So I was just looking at the chart, and I put away the pattern and the chart, and I knit, and only to realize that I had done the first few rows and repeated those when it actually changes right after the first 3 or 4 rows into another set of instructions. So I was devastated because I just couldn't bring myself to pull back. But then I knew that if I didn't, I would not be happy knowing that I had messed up a whole section, and it just would not be the Sorrento shawl anymore. It'll be, you know, my different version of it or something. Anyway, I could have lived with that as well, maybe. But I really preferred the lace pattern that the Sorrento shawl had than the one I had knit. So yes, I just had to frog it back to the top of the lace. And it's really fortunate for me that there is a nice border with a garter ridge just before you head into the lace. So I was able to pull right back, and then I spent a whole evening putting on the stitches again, counting it once, counting it twice and thrice, just to make sure that I had the correct number of stitches. I had not dropped any stitches. And then I got so tired, and I told myself, okay, I cannot look at this shawl for any more now, and you know, a few days I have just to put it away, finish up my socks, which I did. And yes, so it's been sitting in the naughty pile, although it was my fault, for a bit. Now, since I've shown it to you, and now I know, you know, I'm a grown-up, I gotta face my failures and get it done. It's only for my good, because I will have a shawl at the end to wear. And yes, it is looking nice. I do enjoy the yarn and all of that. I do enjoy knitting it. It's just, it was really heartbreaking for me to have to pull back. And thank you for all of your very considerate comments, and you know, letting me know how bad it felt, or understanding how bad it felt for me to be ripping back those rows. Okay, on to the next thing. It is my VIHTORI socks, which I have nothing to show you as far as whips, really, because I've not even cast on for the second one, but it is going to be a work in progress, and it is not completed. So here, for those of you who haven't seen it before, this is the VIHTORI sock foot, I should say, and then I went off to do a little bit of a different thing with ribbing on the leg. These are socks for my 17-year-old son, and I have to now follow this pattern on the second one. I've not cast it on as yet. This is yarn dyed by me, and I use the Chiago mini twists, and it is a size 2.25, which is what I usually use for socks. And I'm using a 72 stitch count for his. Yes, so that is my second work in progress. Moving along very quickly because, you know, there's nothing much to say there. Is this lovely pattern that I'm enjoying. It's the ZWEIG by Caitlin Hunter, and it is all the rave. I saw lovely samples of it at many booths yesterday at the Frolic, the Toronto Frolic, and it just gave me so much more motivation to work on mine, you know, touching, feeling, real life samples, and it just made it more real to me. And yes, so this is all I have. I'm not a very fast knitter, and this is lace, so I do take my time with it. I'm just into the lace section, and you know, this morning I had some time and I told myself, oh, you know, before the podcast I'm gonna knit a few more rows of the ZWEIG, so I will have a little more to show you. But I just found all the other things to do. I did stripes on my crochet blanket. I did a square on my memory square blanket, and just didn't touch this. But I will, and it is a really nice pattern. The neck is a little wide, which concerns me because everyone says how it's usually small, but I'm hoping that it's not too bad when I wear it. So you can see that there's some short row shaping at the back to bring the neck up at the back and lower in the front, and yeah, it's really nice. It's very nice, and I managed to get all blue what do you call these, stitch markers, I guess, and I have my lovely butterfly marker as well for the marking of the beginning of the round, and I'll probably use another one for as a progress keeper, although I don't know how far I'll get. The lace rows are not difficult, I have to say. They're not difficult. It's just a matter of going through with it, and I don't like distractions when I'm doing lace, because as soon as I look up, I get distracted, and when I look back down, I lose sight of where I am. So it's a little slow. And the last one I want to show you, again, I really have not worked on it, maybe a row, and that was it, is once I got my stitch markers, which I was waiting for. This is the KAIPUU shawl, and I forget who it's by. I'll put it up on the screen. It goes into a nice lace section, a nice lace edging. And once I got my stitch markers, I just spent the time putting all of them on. There's lots and lots and lots. And I mark each repeat just to keep me on track. And it's a really nice lace edging. So I do want to get it right and not, you know, mess it up, because I don't want to have to go, you know, go tick back on any of these rows here. So yeah, I probably did a row, maybe two, and that was it. But this is another one that I'm going to be working on. It's lovely yarn by HEPSI Regina again, and this is called Hydrangea Garden, and the pink is just super soft, and I'm not sure, I think it's called Sweet Pea is the color, by Holzgarn. And yeah, it's gonna be a nice light shawl when I do finish it, whenever that is. We'll see. But yes, so already you can see I have 4 whips here that I'm showing you, but a few more, so I do need to get it back into control because it's a little too many for me, and I just don't like that feeling. All right, and so now I have some mail to share with you. And first off, this is very exciting because it's just exciting to receive packages. And you know, sometimes it's a while since I order it that it arrives, and I kind of forget that I've ordered. So when I receive the package, it's like, oh, what could this be, until I actually see it or, you know, look into it. But this is one I've been waiting for since I think February, knowing that it was coming sometime in April, and it is the Making magazine, and this is issue 5 or number 5, and the theme of this issue is color, and it is beautiful bright colors, as you can see. And it is a very, very beautiful magazine. Let me try and flip it through. The pictures are really nice, and really nice projects, not just knitting. There's embroidery. There is a section on natural dyeing in this issue. But this one really appealed to me, because I've always been looking to see how I could do some needle cases that'll work, and I really like this idea of just keeping even needles, but I'm thinking more like maybe I could use it even to put my crochet hooks in there. Oh, there's paper flowers, which I remember making in school, and it was really nice. It just, you know, looking at the pictures, it brought back some memories. I remember we learned how to make large flowers, which were probably peonies, and as well as roses, paper roses. And there's some nice knitting patterns in there as well. But I will show you one that really, really is what I was looking for. And this is on different techniques of mending. So there. So it goes through with nice pictures and how you can do different kinds of mending, where there is, this one is like the duplicate stitch, and they have different things. This is grafting as well as a woven patch, and that was really handy. So that was really, you know, I keep flipping through the pages in the evenings just before bed, and trying to get some nice thoughts in before I go to bed. So I'll be dreaming of all the nice things. And I have been subscribing to the Making magazine since the second issue, and then I was able to get the first one as well. So I do have all of them so far, and I really enjoy the quality of the magazine as well as the content. Beautiful pictures. It's very inspiring just to look at it. Sometimes they have recipes. Oh, this one had a recipe for a drink as well. So that was one of the things. The other was another really nice package from Herbstblatt Regina, and I have bought one skein of the Don't Call Me Honey color before, and this is on her Witch Hazel base again, which is Merino Extra Fine. It's 100% Merino Extra Fine Superwash, and it's 100 grams of it, and it's fingering weight. I bought one skein, but realized for the project that I am hoping to do that I probably needed another skein. So I realized it won't be the same dye lot, but it should be okay for what I want to do. I'll talk more about the yarns and stuff when I actually get to them, because it makes more sense to me that way. But this, I could not resist when I saw it on her website. It's so beautiful, the skein of yarn. Now, fluorescent green or highlighted yellow is not my color at all, but when it's in a skein like this, it just looks like cake to me. It's like, you know, birthday cake, or I don't know, summer. It screams summer to me. And it is on her birch singles base fingering weight yarn, which is 100% superwash merino, and it's 100 grams, and the colorway is Antoinette. So let them eat cake is what I said. It's beautiful. It's so nice, and the splash of the highlighter yellow, it's just really nice. And I can't wait to make myself a pair of socks with these. They have to be socks, and I don't know how it'll knit up, but I'm sure I love it. And I know it's the singles, and I know it's not a you know, totally practical for socks, but I want socks in these. They're gonna be lovely. That's the second. And the third was, like I mentioned, I went for Toronto Frolic yesterday, and it was so much fun. It was not the best of days. It was cold, it was raining, and I was a little perplexed about going, just because I was not comfortable with being, you know, going there by myself. So my husband was very nice enough to drive me there, and then he joined me inside as well. So we did a walk around. It was very relaxed, and I really appreciate him for coming with me, that I was able to spend time this time with chatting with the vendors and meeting up with some of the vendors that I'd met with last time, and just, you know, it was it's So I did do a lot of purchases. Well, not a lot, but I posted a picture of my haul there, and it's about 3 bags. Small bags, but 3. And I'm not going to go through each one and show you all of them in detail. Not because I don't want to, it's just I don't know if you would be interested in seeing. But I do want to share something that I was very happy to pick up. Well, all of which I was very happy to pick up, but these I really I'm glad I did. They're Leica needles, and you know the rage and how everyone's talking about them. I was able to pick up these, and they're interchangeables, but these how do you say, the single needles, single sizes, I guess, and cords to go with them. So I have here a 24-inch cord, and it comes with caps and the little turning key, and then I got myself a 32-inch. I thought I picked up a 40-inch too, maybe not, but 32 and 24. And then in the needles, I picked up, I try to find all of the smaller sizes because that's what I mostly knit with. And the smallest that I could find was the 3.5 millimeter, the 3.75 millimeter, and the 4 millimeter. And these are the driftwood. And so I'm quite excited to try these out, but I wanted to first show it to you guys before I opened up the packages and tried them. I did go in with a list, and I tried to get the things on my list. However, it didn't all work out. One of the things was a yarn winder, and the one that there was only one vendor that had it, and it looked very much like the one I have. And for those of you who haven't heard me say this before, I've been having so many problems with my yarn winder, and it just makes my cakes look really bad. And so I'm thinking of getting another yarn winder that will be a little more sensible in making nice cakes. So yes, I didn't get that, and it was this. It looked very much like mine for triple the price. And the other thing I was looking for was a sweater quantity, just so that I could have a quantity in case I miraculously finished the 2 sweaters I have on the needles and needed to cast another one on. But I didn't want to just buy it because I had it on the list. I wanted something to really call out to me, and it to really be what I wanted to knit with. And I didn't find anything like that, so I'm holding off. I didn't buy any sweater quantity of things, of yarn. The yarn that I did get is mostly things that I have in mind, and I specifically thought, okay, with this I can make that, and it won't all be done before the end of the year, but at least I have a plan in mind. I also had on the other thing was I wanted to try out some mohair, and I did get some mohair, so that was one thing I did get off the list. And I think another thing on the list was just to pick up some prizes for our KAL, so I did manage that as well. So not all was lost, but I did have a lot of fun going around and checking out everything. So over the last 2 weeks, it's just been really, really nice. You know, some days we've had good weather, and of course some days not so much. It's been busy at work, nothing exciting there, but it's just I'm telling you, the vitamin D is a real mood booster, and it really does help. So yeah, enough of me rambling on. I really do appreciate and thank you guys for spending this time with me, and I hope all of you have been enjoying your knitting. And for those of you who have been posting comments both here in YouTube as well as on the Ravelry group, thank you very much, and please do continue to do so. It's my way of interacting with you, and you can also interact with each other as well, which is very nice. I really appreciate the ladies who are you know, taking the time to be a part of this group, and it makes such a big difference to me, and it means the world to me. So until next time, I hope you will have a wonderful knitting adventure, and or crafting adventure, I should say, and do share in, and enjoy the KAL, enjoy the weather wherever you are, and hope you'll be back for more. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, happy knitting. Bye bye.